Hello, hello, hello. What is up, everyone? How's everybody doing? It's the weekend. Well, the end of the weekend. It's the weekend of the weekend.
Literally the end of the weekend.
Yeah. So we have Syberninja here.
What's up, everybody? How are y'all doing? How's your weekend
with a
been?
Tron background, it looks like.
I'm on the grid.
Okay, all right. And then doing some light reading here, we have Omega Weltall there.
Hello. How is everyone? I was not reading.
What was that? What was that intro? That's like some throwbacks to like the old like late night shows that come on in the 90s. What was it I remember shows where they would like read a book and they'd say, "Hello, how are you doing?"
Hello.
So,
hello there.
So
welcome to Masterpiece Theater.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Has anything been going on this week? Any updates you want to give or anything along those lines?
I have no heat.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're space heatering it up right now. And apparently with the storms that have been hitting a lot of the area, it's not nearly as bad as Texas. It's not a woe is me, just telling everybody what's been going on. We were actually looking for heaters and they're gone everywhere. You can't get them because everybody's been traveling up to either get them or having them shipped from the local stores to where they are. Yeesh. So they can have heat. So, I mean, I hope they're staying warm, but we're bundling up here. I am in a short sleeve shirt now, but that's because I literally have a heater right next to me. So that's what's been going on for me lately. So
yeah, it's crazy, man. Texas, like I don't want to get into all the politics behind it, but just wow, I feel bad. And we know so many of our viewers that live in Texas that have been sharing stuff.
A lot of my friends are there
social
too.
Media, I think Shane had shared some photos, and a few other people have, and it's crazy how quickly it all happened because we talk about this not much here, like outside of YouTube and stuff, but in our area we're not prepared for like heavy snow and ice and stuff like that.
We get snow like once every 4 years maybe.
Right.
So and a couple inches shuts us down because it's not in the budget to keep everything running.
Right. Yeah. So the thing is that like here, when we say we get like 1 inch of snow and it shuts everything down, it literally does because we don't have the infrastructure here to deal with that. So think about Texas, which probably in parts of Texas get even less than we ever get. They probably just never.
I think like it was like 77 or something like that was the last time they got a big snow.
Yeah. It's crazy. So
that would not have been in their budget. So I feel for you guys if you're there and if you're there and you're watching us, stay warm.
Yeah, try to do whatever you can. I mean, I'm thinking we're going to hear even more like horrible stories of things that have happened as the weeks go on, and they get to deal with all this. So anyway, thoughts with everybody. Hope you're all doing really well and that you get through this. And
we're essentially doing this to like stay warm, okay, that feels good.
Yeah. So, all right. With that being said, though, let's move in. We've got 3-4-ish.
Oh, you just skipped. You skipped Omega. Like what?
So, what?
He ain't been doing nothing. Apparently,
I thought he was contributing to the group conversation about that.
He's got heat.
Oh, okay. Well, I know you have heat, but I thought you were contributing. So, what have you been doing this week then?
I recently had a birthday Tuesday, and just been playing a lot of. Just been playing a lot of PSO2 and Honey Pop 2.
So we did early birthday last week, so we're doing belated birthday this week. So happy belated birthday for everybody that wasn't here last week. And do you want to say your age on screen here?
He's 12.
Oh, how much?
39.
Oh, wow. All right. Well,
everyone thinks I'm like 20 somethings. Which
he's young. He's young.
I still get carded.
He is aging gracefully, as they say. So
he's young.
So anyway, let's jump into what we have for topics this week in case you guys are interested. Of course, we're going to be talking about WandaVision. It will be our last topic. We have a couple of Marvel topics and a random topic that we're going to throw in that we literally just decided to do right before we went live.
I still don't know what it is.
So we're talking about some Hawkeye set photos because I know a lot of people wonder about that show. We're going to look at some of the set photos and give our thoughts on it. We have a new poster from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we're going to talk about the poster, but we're also going to talk about the show and just kind of speak about our thoughts on that. Talk a little bit about the Mortal Kombat trailer that came out. We're not going to show the trailer, but I do have some photos we're going to scroll through, and because video games are like our thing. So this is like a throwback all the way to like the original Mortal Kombat movie when it came out and how we were just all hyped as kids at the mall, excited to go see this film and like what we have now. So we'll talk about that. And then of course our WandaVision chat. And I do want to touch a bit on our theories spoiling these shows for us? Are our expectations being like, our quality of the shows being judged on expectation? And whether, because we talked about that last week. We'll talk about it during the WandaVision chat as well, because I do want to dive into it a bit more if we have time. So all of that in an hour's time. So with that being said, we got to jump to some of our super chats here. This was a rumor that was going on this past week. I think it's been debunked now, but this is from Anthony Beltry.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And a Team Eric member. Thank you so much. Jennifer Lawrence as Sue. Hell no, Marvel is on crack. So I think there was like a rumor that she was going to be playing Invisible Woman, and then it kind of got debunked within a day of this information coming out. It would be kind of weird to have her as Invisible Woman anyway, considering her connection to Mystique in the X-Men film. Yeah. So I know that they've done this before with, Chris Evans with the Human Torch and stuff like that, and bring him over as Captain America. But I'll be honest, the Human Torch didn't have the same like front of the line visibility as Mystique did, because she kind of took over the X-Men movies.
Yeah, she was like one of the main characters.
Yeah, so I don't know if they want to bring her over and do that, because here's the thing: Jennifer Lawrence, from what I know, and again, she may have done interviews on this or whatever, she wasn't happy about all the work that went into being Mystique. Like, she really,
I've been hearing about that.
So that was why the makeup changed so drastically towards the end. Now, Sue Storm doesn't require a lot of makeup, but it's still a superhero franchise, and she's been there, done that. Don't know if she's interested in getting back involved in it. So, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with the Fantastic Four. I wasn't too happy about the casting either, but
I just wonder if they're going to put Michael B. Jordan as a Human Torch again.
I think, you know what I would love, and this is maybe controversial when it comes to the Fantastic Four, I kind of want them to cast unknowns. I kind of just want them to be like actors that have done very little work. That, when I say unknowns, I mean people that haven't done like, the big movies. They haven't been
people who aren't super famous yet. Or
right. Yeah. Like, give us some characters like that, because then they can grow into the roles and we're not comparing them to other things they've done. Because I think the thing with Jennifer Lawrence is you're going to compare it to what she's done. Just like with Robert Pattinson being Batman, like he immediately was compared to everything that he's ever done, because that's what you do when you have these like A-list actors that are coming in and doing these things. So I would love for the Fantastic Four to be unknowns. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. You guys, any thoughts on that before we move on?
I couldn't care less what they do with Fantastic Four. I'm not a Fantastic Four fan. I didn't like any of the films. I didn't care for the comics. The only thing that I like from the Fantastic Four are their villains. I don't care for the Fantastic Four.
They have some of the best villains. That's the
Galactus,
thing.
Doom.
Yeah,
I think that them is the. I mean, I like Human Torch. I really couldn't care about anybody else. That's just me. I'm not a Fantastic Four guy.
There we go. Gary with a 1.9 super chat. Do you think they will keep Jacob and the rest on I'm
gonna assume that's a Flash reference?
Well, no, there's
no.
Jacob's not on the Flash that I know of. Not sure. Don't know, Gary. Please specify what that is about. Is it Jacob on Batwoman? Oh, Jacob as in Batwoman's father or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about Batwoman.
I haven't watched any of this season. So.
Yeah, I thought it was in reference to something we were talking about here. But I mean, I'm assuming they will. I mean, he's the head of the Crows. He's not just her father. So I'm guessing that, I mean, he's part of the main story, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I would assume they would be keeping him on. All right, you guys, if you have any more super chats, make sure you drop them in. And we're going to talk about, our first topic will be the photos of Hawkeye with Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy
Renner. I haven't seen these yet.
So we're going to kind of pop through these. This is X Realms Matthew, Cream or Scream on Twitter. If you want to go over and check these out yourself, we're just going to look through them. There's about 8 photos here, and he's just got some videos as well. We're not going to look at the videos though. But here we go. Here's a shot of the suit. And I believe these are very recent. I think these were taken just a couple days ago, maybe yesterday. And this is Kate Bishop, obviously. And so we're seeing here a bit of the suit. And it's very
it's all right.
It's okay. I'll say this. It doesn't look like your typical Marvel tactical suit, but I think that's because it's not supposed to be.
we don't even know what her role is yet, right? Like, is she like an agent, or is she just
I think
a
she's
vigilante?
I think she's just training with her father.
Yeah, so that's fine. The suit's fine for that.
Yeah. But I'm assuming that it's going to get, like, if she does move over to like a bigger role, she'll get a more Marvel-esque suit, like a more.
She might even that might even happen by the end of the show, you know?
Yeah, because this to me looks like a year one superhero. Like, this is like Arrow year one, or this is like, Black Widow year one, Batman year one. Like, this is very like brand new kind of thing or whatever for a superhero. Like, I mean, it's got some detailing in it, but I think ultimately they're just going with the color profile from the comics because that is her suit or whatever. What are your expectations for the series? Are you looking for a buddy father-daughter story? Are you looking for more action? Do you think, like, what do you think about this in terms of like where
I have zero expectations for this in terms of I will not be disappointed or I'm not hyped for it. Hawkeye for me in the comics was a whatever character until Jeremy Renner took over the role, and I actually really liked that version of the character. So seeing this play out I will enjoy it, but it's not like on my list of can't wait for this show to come out. So I will be happy for it. I will watch it. I think she's going to do awesome in the role, and Marvel's stories are usually very well done. So,
I mean, looking at WandaVision, if this is the quality of shows we're going to get, I think a lot of people are going to be happy. I don't think they're all going to be like WandaVision. I'm just talking about the production value. I think it's going to be really high.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's going to be like a serious comedy kind of thing, because I mean he's a big jokester, so I'm curious as to what he's training her for. I mean, in the comics we know, but in the show, I'm curious as to why is she picking up the mantle?
Well, we know that Hawkeye or / Ronan retired. Like, he's not going to do any more stuff. I mean, this is the second time he said he's not going to do it because he sort of retired before and then he came back again. But yeah, so and we know Marvel wants to set up a younger set of Avengers, and they want to make it a. Yeah, I know exactly.
Professional.
Here I am talking. Maybe my phone might actually ring.
Yeah, like I mean, it's called put it on airplane mode, man.
And so here's the thing, and a lot of the chat is saying this as well. So Kate isn't his daughter, I don't think. Oh, well, interesting. I was under the impression, but okay.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. See, I don't even know the story, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I'm not reading every single article about the show, so I don't know every detail about it. I'm just going on what was proposed or theorized early on, which is part of what we were talking about, theories and things like that, and how they could be a problem. So here we go.
I know nothing about the show.
Is separate to Hawkeye's daughter who appear with Hawkeye and other kids. So that's interesting. So, but that doesn't really change anything for me. Like, I don't think that matters too much. If it was his daughter or not his daughter, she's a trained version of Hawkeye coming up as a superhero. So I'm okay with whatever direction they take. But the thing is that I think, so the chat, and we were going different direction here. The chat was talking about this, about Arrow. Arrow is considered like one of the top tier action superhero shows on network television. How do you think this show is going to be compared to Arrow in terms of like how it functions with the bow and arrow and archery and stuff like that? Are you expecting like Arrow level of like combat and fighting? Because I hope so.
I think Arrow's, or the first couple seasons of Arrow's choreography was awesome. I mean, it was still good later on, but it was more about a team than just himself. Mm-hmm. So when it was just him and it was doing everything, I actually really enjoyed it. And I think it was very high quality. I think they'll do it okay on this if they get the right people, as long as it's not Iron Fist choreography. I think it'll be fine.
I don't think we'll ever see that again. That kind of like fizzled away with the Inhuman show. I don't think we've seen anything like that. So I'm hoping that you're right. Now, Josh, you were saying, or Omega, we call you by both of your names, your aliases. Are you excited for the series? Is this one of the ones that you're looking forward to, or is this one that because we're going to review it, obviously.
Yeah.
So are you like, looking at the spectrum of shows we're getting, Because you're more of like a fan of magic and fantasy and things like that.
Yeah, I'm more the more fantastical.
This is definitely
stuff,
a more grounded, like street level type series. So
which is why I didn't really like the Fox's X-Men, because they made it too grounded. I was like, this X-Men isn't grounded, but this, I mean, it seems fine. I mean, I'll give it a watch, and if it's good, great. If it's not, man, there's other stuff.
I mean, I like Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, and actually,
I like his Hawkeye.
Like Cyber was saying, I wasn't a huge Hawkeye fan from the comics.
Yeah, me either.
If you were to ask me like a great Hawkeye story, I'd be like, I don't really know because I've only really read him in a group setting, so I don't really know.
I think like his biggest accomplishment, like killing Bruce Banner.
I don't know. I don't even know. That's the thing. Yeah, we'd have to dig deep for that. There's probably a lot of Hawkeye fans that love the deep cuts. They love all that. Like with Kate Bishop, I don't even really know a lot about this character. Honestly,
I never read any. I don't know anything about her.
Recently introduced it, and out of my radar of things that I've been interested in, that I know very little. I'll probably have to go on Comixology or Marvel Unlimited and download a run of her series and read it now before the show starts.
Look up a wiki page or something
to get a better job. Yeah, I mean, I've got Marvel Unlimited, so I usually just download like whatever the introduction to the character is and read that. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we're going in that direction, which is probably why I wasn't hyped for her knowing she was coming to the Avengers game, because I'm like,
I was like, Kate Bishop. If you're getting Kate Bishop, okay, great. You're getting, why not like, I don't know, somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, but we'll see, because here's the thing: depending on how much buzz there is around the show while it's airing, will tell me whether or not this is a character I need to focus on, because she may just be a character that's an addition to a team, or she may actually have like a lot of weight behind her going into like the MCU. I do know this, that Marvel is definitely, with what they're releasing, trying to switch up what we have now. So
I was getting ready to say, what if the WandaVision twins age themselves up and get with Kate, and they have like a little like young Avengers?
Yeah. So Cody says his best run is what they're adapting, which is Matt Fraction. Well, I'll look that up on Marvel Unlimited and give it a read. I can usually do a full run in like an evening, sit down with my tablet and just eat dinner and read. So we'll definitely check that out. I appreciate it. All right, before we move into the next topic, Gary had a super chat here. $1.99 super chat. Do you think they will still mention Kate next season? And he's again talking about Batwoman, which is fine. I don't know. I think they're going to wrap up Kate's storyline this season because they want to move forward with Ryan Wilder. So I think whatever happens with Kate is going to happen this season. And they're going to give, like, can you imagine like a character leaves as the lead and like 4 seasons later, the main character is still
being talked about?
With that? Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. So there we go. All right, so let's talk about our next topic. This one shouldn't take too long. This is just some artwork that we want to talk about. They released a new banner / poster for Falcon and Winter Soldier. And this is the next series that's coming out right after WandaVision ends. Well, like a week after WandaVision ends, we'll get a week break. So we'll have to come up with something fun to talk about during that week. Maybe we'll get a promo for this and we can talk about it, or just talk about the whole WandaVision season. The whole. We have lots of options, but we get a week off from WandaVision to Falcon and Winter Soldier. And we got another teaser for it, which we're not going to go over here, but I do want to talk about a bit about this poster. So Gary, we will. Please stop doing that. Okay? Please stop. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier poster here. Let's go ahead and talk about this. I'm really excited for the series. I'm very, very into these two characters. They've been dealing with a lot. And I think it's just, this is a series that I think could have been a movie. It's very, very, very solid. There's a foundation for it. And in this poster / banner, we get the two of them up front and up close in the screen there, obviously. In the background, we have Sharon Carter, who we know is going to be a part of the series, wearing like a hoodie, because that's what they do. They just hats and
hoodies and blank hats.
Yeah. We have John Walker as U.S. agent in the back there, and then we have
Mr. Zemo.
Aaron Zemo. So there we go. And this is cool. This is a cool banner, and I'm really excited about the series. What do you guys think? I mean, they're obviously going with this muted blue, almost a gray and black with the red, which kind of goes along with like the U.S. agent suit that we get later on in the comics with the black. We talked about Hawkeye now and your expectations. This one is at the top of my bar.
Yeah, this one for me, this is why I got Disney Plus. I was going to get it anyway. I have kids, and a lot of the stuff on the platform I will obviously watch, but I specifically was like, this is what I'm getting it for.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted it for. This is what I've been waiting for. I love all the actors and actresses involved. I can't wait to see where this story goes. It's going to be the grounded type of combat that I'm a big fan of. The story will obviously be very Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Winter Soldier-esque, and how can you go wrong with that? I'm already calling this series a 10 out of 10. Anything less, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
I'll be disappointed if it's not a perfect show.
What about you, Omega?
I'm kind of thinking this is probably I have a feeling this is going to be something along the lines of like, say, Lethal Weapon. It's kind of like the buddy cop movie, kind of funny, kind of serious here and there.
Yes.
Some cup action there, which I love the Lethal Weapon movies. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I kind of think this is going to be. So I'm pretty excited. I'm not like his level, but I'm like, let's see what you got.
So Jordan makes a good statement here. He goes, the Falcon and Winter Soldier should have been the first show they dropped for Marvel content. This was going to be the first show, I believe.
Yeah, it was what it was
supposed to be.
I
forgot what were the reasons why.
COVID.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They had
never mind. That explains everything.
Okay, so here's the thing. If you look at WandaVision now and you look at the trailers for Falcon and Winter Soldier, obviously this one required more outdoor scenes and things like that. They couldn't really get back to the location to film that. Whereas WandaVision, a lot of that was filmed on a sound stage.
The sound stage.
So they swapped it around. Which the weird thing is, if WandaVision, and we'll talk about this, I guess later on. We briefly cover this. If WandaVision is leading into Doctor Strange 2, how much time are we gonna have to wait for that before we get the payoff? That's gonna be weird. This one though, I thought this one was gonna have ties to Black Widow. Because supposedly Yelena, I think, was supposed to be in this series. I think we haven't seen pictures of her or whatever. I don't know if that's true. If that's a rumor, could be another hype thing. But either way, it's a little weird. But I will say, looking at the trailers and the teasers for this is going to be like total movie quality TV series. I feel like, because Mandalorian is up there in the production value. We've seen it with WandaVision, not as much because they've also played with the stuff with the sitcom, but this is going to be hour-long episodes. It's going to be, I believe, 6 episodes long.
I think it's 6.
And each episode is going to feel like a mini movie, I think.
Good, because those little 30-minute WandaVision episodes are just killing.
What do you mean?
Me.
It's 35
So
minutes.
Ragu says he thinks Yelena's going to show up on the
killing me.
It's just credits for days.
That makes more sense, Ragu, then. Yeah, if Yelena's going to show up there.
Okay, cool.
But so I'm super, super hyped for this one. This is a series. This was the one, like you said, this is what I got Disney Plus for, was this series, honestly. And so I'm hoping that this pulls it through. Everything I'm seeing in the trailers looks amazing. And obviously Winter Soldier is one of my favorite characters in the MCU. And I'm so glad that Falcon is getting a shot at being, because what they're doing is they're taking these characters, not so much with WandaVision. I mean, we do have Darcy and Jimmy, and then of course Monica, but we're taking these characters that are not like mainline Avengers. They're Avengers, but they've never been like the guys at the front
heavy hitting frontliners,
right? And giving them an opportunity we're giving you the movie quality, and in a lot of ways, and I will never forget this. When we were at Dragon Con and we saw we were at the Daredevil panel. He got up and says that he prefers TV over movies because you get to tell richer stories because it's more time with the characters. In a lot of ways, these two guys, just like with WandaVision, are really benefiting from this because you're getting the movie quality content, but you're giving them long form storytelling.
Yep.
So it's like both worlds.
Yeah, it's going to give them a lot more to focus on just that one angle for them to character growth. And then when they do go back to film, you'll have that much more richness of their background.
Yeah, I'm sure even the
characters more.
Yeah, I'm sure even the production was just the production line was probably just as intensive as a movie set. So it's just they kind of cut it up. It's just on hour and they just cut it up into however long seasons or whatever, but actual filming, that's probably like just like on a movie set.
Well, yeah, and if you looked at like the trailer that we saw with them like on the plane and then on the street with the two the tractor trailers or whatever, it doesn't look like a TV show to me.
Not at all.
it looks like a 6-hour movie.
Yeah, for a second, I literally forgot it was a TV show. I thought it was a movie.
So they put a lot of money into this. And to be honest, if we had to go another year without any big movies, and this is the kind of TV they wanted to give us, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
WandaVision feels like it's only 30-minute episodes, really, but it feels like
it feels like a movie.
So I'm good with that. All right, we've got a couple more super chats. I'm going to try and get all these in here. Gary Gamma, the 198 super chat. Thank you, Gary. Do you think Barry will time travel this season?
No.
So you're going with no? Yeah.
No.
I mean, I don't think I don't know, because he's still got to get his Speed Force back. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna say I'm not sure at the moment, but Cyber's like no.
Yeah, no.
No.
I don't see it happening.
Let's see. Let's get the next. We had a couple more super chats before we move into. Gary here. I'm worried you won't answer my super chat. Don't worry, Gary.
We'll get to them.
We will get to them. I don't like to answer super chats in the middle of topics because I put timestamps in these after we do them. And when people go back through to watch the topics, if I was answering super chats in the middle of a topic, it makes it really hard to give the correct timestamp. That's the only reason why. Let's see. We had another one here from Crazy Cat Lady Gamer Reviewer with the $5 super chat and a Team Eric member. Thank you so much.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. Yeah. There. I mean, sorry.
Spoiler.
I had a feeling it was not Wanda controlling the hex. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
like I've been saying, someone's just feeding her energy or just kind of poking and prodding her. It's not 100% Wanda.
Ultron says there are no strings on me, but Wanda didn't say that. So we're going to talk more about that when we get to the WandaVision stuff. I thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, but I don't want to get in too much into that now when we have a whole section for that. So we'll talk about that when we get to WandaVision. But yes, very exciting stuff with WandaVision. Let's see. Slice 199. What are your thoughts on the show rated TV MA? I guess we're talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Good. They don't have to pull any punches.
Yep.
I mean, it's probably I will assume it's for the fighting and stuff like that.
I'm 100% on board for that. Let's go. Like that again. If it's not a 10 out of 10, I'm disappointed.
I mean,
this is set up to be the best.
I would be totally lying if I didn't say that I loved the unrestrained combat on Daredevil. Like that was a series where they would push it really, really, really far. I will say it's weird to me that Marvel is doing this though, because they wanted to keep everything sort of PG-13, but I think TVMA could sort of be argued to be PG-13.
Yeah, it's kind of a odd gray area because TV is a little more. Yeah, TV is a little more stricter when it comes to censoring. Movies aren't as strict.
It doesn't translate directly.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. In the games, I didn't see your question. That's easier for me to see things that are super chatted, which if it gets caught up in the chat, that's how I miss it sometimes. Gwendolyn, good to see you. 499 super chat. Hey everyone, that WandaVision Healing and Reveal was just wow. I'm super excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I hope it doesn't disappoint. I'll watch Hawkeye, but
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I'll watch it. I'm excited. It's content, but
I will
I
say
can go with it or without it.
Even get to WandaVision, I just have to say Monica Rambeau. I'm just excited to see where that's going to go, and I can't wait to talk about that in just a few. But
I got some thoughts.
Chat.
I got some thoughts.
Is MA mature audience? Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't.
No, it means most action.
Yeah, I guess so. But there's no direct translation from TV to movies, so unfortunately, it doesn't really. Doesn't really work out that way. Look, Cody says it's TV 14 TVMA internationally. So they're adjusting it for international audience.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right. So this is our midway point. We're going to take a quick break and do a shout out to all of our Team Eric members. There's
going to be a video in there that tells you how to subscribe. Spoiler.
There will be.
Hashtag ad.
There will be. We're going to do that. And if your name is not there, do not worry. I update it each week. So if it's not there, it will be there next time. So with that being said, we'll be back in just a moment. So you may be asking yourself, how do I become a Team Eric member and help support the channel? Well, it's actually quite simple. You head down below the video you're watching right now or any video on my channel, you click the join button and it pulls up a page where you can see all the perks available to you, custom badges, emojis, exclusive content, and early access. Then you click the join button. It's that simple and it does help support the channel. Become a Team Eric member today. Thank you. Today.
Right now. Why not do it right now?
Oh,
You just saw the video.
Was that a different book entirely, or was that the same book?
He read the first one. He's a speed reader.
A different one.
I was just making some notes for our next D&D game. They're fighting the Tarask. Good luck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tell them about our D&D game and how awesome it's going to be. Meanwhile, you don't stream it, so they have no idea that we play Dungeons and Dragons.
Look, the first game we were testing out some stuff, but next time I actually might stream. But anyway, let's move on.
Collecting dust over here, by the way. So,
like, come on.
Right before all this happened, I bought a bunch of dice, and then we never got a chance to use them again.
No, look. True story, real quick. I ran like 2 one-shot campaigns for my wife's best friend. Her entire family went out and bought dice in the player's handbook and was ready to play again. And I have since not done another campaign for them. So the D&D is a fantastic game, guys, but it's a lot of prep work for the DM, and it can go south quick to have motivation to want to keep doing it. So it happens. It happens. But dice is forever.
Yeah. So Gary Gammon with just a random 99-cent super chat. Not mad at you, Gary. I see that under the 99 cents.
Under it, yeah.
So yes, no, not mad at you at all.
You're good, Gary. Just have some patience.
Yeah, just be patient. We'll get to your super chats. If I miss them, if we do a break and I miss them, I will get back to them. Trust me. Well, it'll be fine. All right. So we're going to jump into a quick topic, I guess, sort of quick topic before we get into our WandaVision review. And we're going to talk a bit about the Mortal Kombat trailer. Now, this is a topic I threw in here right before we went live that we're going to talk about. And I just want general thoughts on this trailer because it came out. This is the Red Band trailer that some of these pictures are pulling from. We get to see Jax and what happens to him from Sub-Zero. We get to see some back history on Scorpion and, Melina, and this really cool scene with Sub-Zero freezing blood and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff in this trailer. So general thoughts on it. Are you excited for this movie? It's going to be out in April. It's going to be on HBO Max.
Yeah, looks cool. I think it's all right. I mean, it's a video game movie, so I'm not expecting Oscar-worthy anything. Yeah, it might be just a fun movie to just watch. And
so you saw the trailer. I
saw the trailer,
and you're happy with the trailer, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. What about you, Cyber?
Here we go.
I was always told if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't say anything at all.
Go.
No, look. Okay, look. It's a different interpretation on the Mortal Kombat story. I'm going to say the same thing that I've said a million times. When you change a video game to make a movie, right? You're no longer making the video game that everyone loved. You are now just taking that franchise and trying to reimagine it in your eyes to please the audience. If the audience wasn't happy with the original story, then they're not going to care that you're making a new one. And if they were happy with the original, they don't want to see a new one. Now, I know people are going to say, but we do want to watch it. It looks good. And that's fine. I'll watch it as well. But I don't like the synopsis, right? I think that the story that they're telling right now is a little I do think the action is going to be good. And the special effects are pretty decent. It's very muted in tone, kind of like with the Justice League. So that way, I guess the CG might look better. I don't know what the budget was for it, but
Snyder cut.
The games stories, if you guys don't play them, you can at least go to YouTube and watch someone's playthrough. They're so in depth and so good. There's no way that this movie could live up to it.
Yeah,
and
especially
I don't like
9 to 10s. Good.
Yeah, I mean they're really good, and the problem is that they're changing the characters. So like, if you
Cole,
right? So they're following Cole. I have a lot. There's a lot. He's not in the game.
No.
They explain what a birthmark is in the trailer. I can't.
With it.
That line did bother me.
So people are going to be hyped for it because let's face it, right? If you like Mortal Kombat franchise, you're there for a few reasons. One of them is the fatalities. The other one is for your favorite character. I think the fight scenes will be good. You'll probably see one character that does something really cool that you'll talk about for, I don't know, a couple weeks. It's a forgettable movie. I'm not looking forward to it. I'll see it. I'll tell you guys how much I hate it when it comes out. This is not it. This movie's not going to change my mind. It's not going to be good. The trailer looked okay, but it left very little to the imagination. They literally gave you the entire story, and probably all of the good fight scenes are in that trailer. Just saying.
Yeah.
So
trailers do that.
Okay, so I'm on this weird scale with this where the Mortal Kombat stories in the games have been so good over the last few titles that we've had that I don't know how a movie is going to make, or how they're going to make that story better, because there's no interaction with the characters. You're not actually playing through the missions. So that's not going to happen. So for me, I'm going to say, I'm going to wait on the story to see because we don't really truly know what the story is because even the trailer, it does give us an idea, but it seems like a generic story in the trailer. So visually though, fight scenes, visuals, all of that, I think it looks really good. Like, it doesn't look like the older Mortal Kombats where they had a tiny budget. I'm going to guess the budget on this was pretty good. So
I think it was too. I mean, it looks, like I said, the fight scenes and the fatalities, obviously, if that's what you're there for, it's probably going to be top notch.
That's what I'm saying. I think if you go into this with that mentality, it's not going to be a big deal. But if you're looking for a story with the depth that you get in the video games, I just don't think that's going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see. Visually, I'm excited. I'm glad to see that Disney Plus has even more content coming out. So
I thought it was HBO Max.
Oh yeah, it is HBO Max.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Thinking of WandaVision. We're gonna go into that.
I also have one other question. Where's Chun-Li?
That article.
Again,
where's Chun-Li?
Yeah.
Cody says there's theories that Cole becomes Johnny Cage. I don't know.
I don't see now. If they do that, then if you play through Mortal Kombat, the most recent one, you know that there is they pretty much made every story of Mortal Kombat canon, and that it's like a multiverse. So this could just be another multiversal story. That's fine. I'm not interested in it because, again, I like to play the game, and if I want to watch cool fight scenes, they're in the game and they can do a lot more than they're going to do. I'm just not. I'm not excited. I'm just not excited. And I was at one time a massive Mortal Kombat fan, and I'm just like, eh.
Yeah. All right. So Laura, I would say Laura. I say that every time. Laura, what are your thoughts on Supergirl in the Flash movie? Does mean no more Superman? So if you didn't know, Sasha Calle, I believe that's her name, has been cast as Supergirl in the upcoming Flash movie that's probably never going to happen, according to Cyber. But because they keep just casting, there's just people being cast for this film. Does it mean no more Superman? I don't know. I'm going to talk more about this during the after party because I think we're going to get more news on this over the next few days. But I mean, to be honest, what were the chances of getting another Superman movie anytime soon anyway? I mean, I feel like they've not been able to nail that down anyway. So we'll see. All right, before we jump into WandaVision, I want to talk briefly on this subject and our theories ruining TV and movies for fans. Now, this is about WandaVision, but it's also about just in general, based on where we are right now. And I want to discuss this with you guys before we get into that, because I think that all of us probably have opinions on this. And I love theories. I love hypothesizing about shows and movies. I love all of that. I think it's a lot of fun. But does it hurt the final product when something that we expect based on completely fan-related theory stuff? Does it hurt the final product when you go into it and that isn't given to you? Like being promised Pizza Hut or something that you love, and then you end up getting a knockoff version of that, or
$5 pizza.
Yeah. Are these things ruining TVs and movies for fans because of the expectations going into them. I want to know your guys' thoughts on this, because we're seeing it right now with WandaVision. And the reason why I'm bringing this up before we talk about that is because I think this week's last week's episode, it may have been affected by that. So thoughts on this?
I think it can. It really depends on the person. Also, what's, the Twitter dumpster gets involved, that can potentially get kind of toxic. I don't know. It's all, it's always fun to theorize with stuff. I mean, if it's all in, just all in good fun, and it turns out you don't get they subvert expectations or whatever, okay, fine. Unless they subvert expectations like Game of Thrones. Don't get me started on that. I'm gonna stop right now. But but it's like, even with the whole thing with WandaVision, it was kind of like all the people who didn't know comics were like, wow, I didn't know. But everyone who knew the comics, who was theorized, like, knew it.
So, you can read that.
No, I'm just going to throw these up while you're talking about
it. So, here's my thing, right? Back in the day, if you had a show with a cool plot twist, or you had a show that had little Easter eggs that you may have picked up on or missed, that's really cool, right? That's something that you can enjoy yourself or with your little group of friends. In the world of social media, aka internet, everything is there for you. If you miss something in a show, there's someone there to tell you missed it. There's also someone there to tell you where it came from, where it could go, or what theories they have. And then you end up getting 10, 15 different theories for whatever show you're watching. Of course, obviously, the reason why this is so big for WandaVision is because of so many red herrings. So now you have to ask, you're asking the question is, do theories ruin the show? Only if those theories are justified from what the show is giving you. If the show gives you a bunch of avenues, and they can take any one of them and then leave you with something that doesn't go that way, just from the simple, we could take Game of Thrones, for instance. In other words, they hit you with a plot twist just because of the story being obvious of the way it was going. That makes the show bad. Sometimes it's okay to give people that payoff, even if they figure it out. But in most cases, when you have a bunch of theories that are coming from the show itself or the book itself or whatever entertainment you are dealing with, if it doesn't explain those to a point where it makes sense, it can lead you into disaster in terms of what you think of the show. In the case with WandaVision or any other show, it does depend on the person, but ultimately I think it depends on the show. I think the show can ruin it for you if they don't pay attention to what they're trying, because they're building hype. And if they're building hype and then not giving it to you, then that's the show's fault.
Right. Yeah. And I'm not speaking specifically about that. Like, I think if a show is doing its own hype train and the fans are getting hyped for the hype train, that's fine. I'm talking specifically about, like, when something is completely fabricated by the community. It isn't something that the show. So, like, for example, like a lot of these Batman leaks, the Spider-Man leaks for the Spider-Man movie coming up. Like, a lot of these aren't even based in reality. They're just things that fans want to see. And they're building up for that movie. So when that movie comes out, if it doesn't deliver on that, people are going to be mad. And is that the creator's fault because people wanted something different than what they got? I mean, it would be completely different if it was a bait and switch situation. Like, if Spider-Man was advertising like Andrew Garfield in their promo material, and then you go see the movie and he's not there, you have every right to be mad about that. But if something like that is being created by the fans and it's not being promoted by the actual companies or the studios, it's like, what's the point then? Are you going to be jaded? Are you going to be mad? You're going to be upset about it because of the fact that that's the situation.
Yeah, and that's why I talk about the Twitter dumpster. They say, oh, we want this, we want Raylo, or like with the whole Last Jedi thing, and then they don't get it, and then they get pissed off. It's like, well, y'all the ones who brought that up, not them.
Yeah, but And I mean, the reason why I thought about it is over the last, I guess, month or so, there's been this endless cycle of articles where I read them and then I find out that they're literally based on nothing. Like,
nothing but Twitter.
This person had a red dot on their hand in the scene, and so that means XYZ. Like, it's beyond that. And people are saying there's a difference between leaks and theories. I'm making it very clear on what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about leaks. I'm not talking about studio hype. I'm talking specifically about fans who create theories based on the tiniest of things that ultimately doesn't pay off. I'm not talking about the stuff that ends up being true. I'm talking about stuff that's fan theories or hypothesis that end up not paying off and then feeling like you're let down by it.
Yeah, and a lot of this kind of ties in with the shippers. People's like, oh, that character looked at this other character's butt for 5 seconds too long. They need the bone, and they have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. It's one of these things where I don't know if it's helping or hurting. I feel like in a community where you're sitting around talking with your friends, it's fine. But when it becomes this thing where an outlet pushes
it goes to the Twitter dumpster.
Yeah, and it feels real. Like if you put something in a headline, it feels real for people. Like I can't tell you how many friends on social media that I have that have shared articles of stuff that is so outlandish, like it couldn't be true. And then ultimately it isn't true. And then they get mad when it isn't true. And I'm like, but you basically set yourself up for that. And the people that share that kind of stuff, I feel like they're getting excited for something that's not going to happen. And they get mad when it doesn't happen. So it makes me...
That's kind of why I said last week I was no longer going to try and really start dipping into all this stuff that's happening in WandaVision. And it's not because it's not fun, because it is to see all this stuff. And I mean, I've seen YouTube videos for one episode that's like an hour long about each Easter egg and where it could come from. Yeah. And I'm like, no, it is not that complicated. And because of that, shows get ruined. Like I remember a season with Flash, going back and trying to figure out all these reasons why the character was. And then they don't explain it. And it's like, yeah, I kind of did it to myself. Yeah. You know, it's more simple than that.
Yeah. And so we're going to kind of wrap it up there. I think we've kind of discussed that a bit. Yeah. But I want to make something very clear because there's people in the chat who are in their feelings about this topic. I am not talking about the umbrella of theories in general. I am talking
just people who take it a bit too far.
Not even that. I'm talking about theories that end up not being real. Like theories that people make up.
They just stay theories.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, well, yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay to theorize about stuff and it's a lot of fun. But when people get so invested in a theory that it ruins something for them, that's what I'm talking about. Not just theories in general. Those things are fun to do, but when they don't pay off, does it ruin your thoughts and your quality of the product you're watching?
And if that, I have to think that kind of depends on the person. If you're a normal adjusted person, you're like, oh, it was different than what I thought it was. Or if you're part of the Twitter dumpster, then you go rabble.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of people angry about
kill the producer for not doing what I wanted to do.
Why do you have a sword on the floor?
He's just got random stuff around him, I guess. So all right, next topic. Let's Hood Rat Pat with the $4.99 super chat. Trailer looks wild. Shang Tsung looks cool, but the bar is set high. My biggest concern is character overflow. Well, it's Mortal Kombat. I mean, just random thing. Look,
don't talk shit about my props.
Oh my gosh, so much stuff just randomly laying around. Thoughts about this character overflow in Mortal Kombat? I think it's Mortal Kombat. There's a million characters.
No, that's what I'm saying. So when you have a character that you like, say your favorite character is, I don't know, let's throw a character out there, Reptile, right? And he only has 5 minutes of the movie. Does the movie suck because they didn't spend enough time on it?
Annihilation, where they talk about Striker and Cabal for like 5 seconds.
Right. You can't do that. And if you can't there's so many characters, whatever, move on.
Right. Yeah. We got another super chat here from Amir, $5 super chat. I hope the show doesn't end with a quick 5-minute battle defeat of a villain. I'd rather the villain succeeds in some fashion. I guess we're talking about WandaVision here. And so this isn't really a spoiler. This is just kind of a general statement. So yeah, I mean, I hope that it does leave a little bit of mystery, but I hope that we do tie up loose ends from the show, because there's nothing worse than having those loose ends sit and wait for Doctor Strange 2. I want some stuff to carry over, but not everything. I want some finality to something, there at the end. Thoughts on this, guys? Do you want some questions answered?
I think unfortunately, Amir, I think it is going to be a 5-minute scene battle to defeat the villain, because I think the entire show is trying to set you up to who the actual villain is.
Yeah.
And once they figure it out, I think that's going to be at the very end. It's going to be a big plot twist or either a big reveal for all of us fans of Marvel. And then it's going to be like, Like, and then we're gonna go on to Doctor Strange too.
What about you,
I'll just reiterate what he said. Same thing.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Good.
That's what I think.
I have nothing else to add.
Okay, so here we go. WandaVision spoilers are on deck. We're talking about the episode now. So WandaVision spoilers on deck. By the way, my review is now out of early access. So if you are someone that did not get to see my rant review for WandaVision and you want to see me dive a bit into that, the stuff that we're not going to cover here, you can click on that at the end of this video once it goes back up for playback. So there you go.
And if you want to see my review of it, you can watch it right now.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're here for.
Right here.
So, WandaVision spoilers. This is episode 7. This is called Breaking the Fourth Wall was the title of the episode.
Such a good episode.
It was like the premise was sort of Office / Modern Family.
Office to start, Modern Family for the show. Yeah.
Wow. So last week I felt like it was the bookends of 2 different episodes. This episode definitely felt like a solid episode all the way from start to finish in terms of like where it began and where we left off in the episode. And let's just go ahead. We're going to dive into some of the really cool stuff here. So we learned, one of the things we learned in this episode is that it's taken place over like a week, right? Because Darcy says she's been watching WandaVision for a week now. So roughly a week and a half, I guess, is the time frame of the actual series. Does that sound right for you guys in terms of like the...
I actually didn't even pay attention to when she said that. I was just going with the flow. I wasn't even worried about timeline. So I guess that makes sense. Curious to how much, because if you think about it, all these people are being controlled by Wanda, and humans can't survive so long without like food and water and stuff. And it seems like she's not focusing on that. So the people that are in danger in there, if it had been months, it wouldn't make sense for them to still be alive. They'd be dead. They'd be animated corpses like Vision, which they still could be actually at this point. So we get that week and a half there. So that was kind of cool. We pick up with Wanda sort of like leaving off where they did in the last episode, where she was still in her Halloween costume. One of the things I noticed right away is Quicksilver was nowhere to be found, and we dive into that a bit, when she's talking to the boys and everything. But it seems like things have changed. Wanda's still in the same clothes, which is unusual. That doesn't normally happen. Normally, when they switch time periods, it's like everything changes. So this didn't change. And then we realize that on top of her being sort of out of it, that the hex is, I guess the size of it maybe is causing I think it's too broad. And she's getting exhausted, I think is what's happening.
Yeah, she can't control everything. So we have the boys playing a Wii, which by the way, if we're going with Modern Family era,
and then it went to GameCube.
And
then
Atari. System. A better system.
Yeah, they started out the Wii or whatever. They're having trouble with that. And so Wanda's coming downstairs, and we have Agnes come over, and she's like, oh, I'll take the boys or whatever and go over and be the babysitter. Which before we find out at the end what's going on with her, that's like, here we go. We're still doing this and waiting for that payoff. We finally get it.
Oh yeah, I didn't know.
But the funny, did you notice the name on the cereal box?
I did
Sugar
not
Snaps.
It was
Sugar Snaps.
Like snap. Like that. I was like, is that because of Thanos there? So many little things. Easter.
That's what I mean. That's one of the things this show does. Well, we could talk about that later. But Sugar Snaps, and I think the makers of it was actually one of the writers or producers of the show. I think is what it was. His name shows up quite a lot.
And I was wondering, there was like a missing kids thing on the back of the milk carton. I didn't know if that was one of her kids or something.
I did not
have to go back and watch that.
Or if it was just generically like asking.
Yeah, I think it was generic. I don't think it was anybody specific. I think it was generic.
Yeah. So we see that going on, and then we pick up and we have Vision waking up. This is after, of course, that the kids go away with Agnes, which, by the way, again, before we jump over to the next one, I completely forgot about this. She tells the boys that Pietro is not who he is. Like, she knows that this is not her
not to listen to him. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if it was the comments that he made the night before, or if she just somehow became aware of it, because other than the comments he made to her, we don't know if there was any other conversation between the two of them, because we don't know how that she wakes up the next day. We don't know what happened. So apparently she kind of figured this out or whatever. But we go to Vision, and Vision wakes up in what is now the circus, because it was Sword. Now it's just a big circus tent with all these different agents playing the roles of these circus characters. And there's Darcy chained to one of the vehicles with these fake breakaway chains that I guess playing into the idea that the circus has a lot of things that aren't real, and so this, that, and the other. At first, I was like, is she super strong now? She have a super strength?
I kind of figured like a lot of those escape artists, they'll have like a false, they'll have like a false chains or whatever, false shackles where they can just flip a thing and they just get out of it.
Man.
I was.
Can we talk about how disappointed I was that it wasn't she wasn't her two broke girls alter ego?
Oh,
when she went into that was
Now, can we talk about how thick Darcy's is? I did not know she was that thick. Goddamn.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, moving on.
Of course, you would pick up on that. Actually, you're not the only one. I saw a lot of people memeing it on Twitter and stuff. But anyway, so Vision finds a way like to give her memories back and everything, and so she starts to fill him in on everything. And he starts to sort of pick up on what's happening. It's really weird to me because we have Vision, but this isn't really Vision. Like, this is a new person who is Vision now, but wasn't Vision before. And it's even more perplexing because he has the powers of the Mind Stone, but the Mind Stone isn't really there.
I mean, he also had the powers of super speed, which he didn't have in the movies.
But I'm just saying, like all these things are happening, and they're, I guess Wanda is doing. Like, I'm assuming that Agnes wouldn't be doing this, who we now know as Agatha, obviously.
What?
So she was Agatha all along.
The whole time.
The whole time she was doing everything out of the blue, just out of left field. We had no idea. So that was kind of interesting. And so they're on this road trip in this was like an ice cream truck or something like that. It's I don't remember what it was. It was a truck there from the circus. But they get held up at like a light, and then the light changes, and then they have a truck pull up in front of them. And then when that changes, it comes up a kid's crosswalk or whatever. And Vision is like, I think Wanda is basically trying to stop. I don't think it was Wanda though.
No, I think it was Agatha. Yep. It was Agatha.
Yeah, because it didn't seem like Wanda. Agnetha. Yeah.
Agnetha?
So she's doing that or whatever. And finally, after like about 3 scenes of this, Vision's had enough. He's like, I'm just going to fly
get out of here.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
So he wants to fly away. And that's pretty much the gist of their story there. It's just basically Darcy filling Vision in on what he needed to know and confirming some of those things. And so that was kind of exciting because I think they did really well together in scenes, talking and chatting. And so, we got a couple super chats here that are on topic. We'll Stepful with the $2.99 super chat. Hola. Hello. Hey. How are you, Stepful? And we have Cody here with the super chat. This was the next thing I was going to bring up, which was the commercial. Cody with a $5 super chat and a Team Eric member. Do the commercial. I'm pretty sure Wanda is a Nexus being, which means she's a key to keeping the multiverse stable and it's the same across realities. So yes, the Nexus, which is okay. So I totally knew what this was about when they dropped it. I'm like, okay, so this is definitely connecting to the idea of Wanda and her being a Nexus being, which means in the comics, as far as I can tell, stable and the same across all realities, is she has the ability to change probability even if fate demands it. So she's able to like literally, it doesn't matter if it was supposed to happen, Wanda can literally change that. She can change the trajectory of that. I know in the comics that the Nexus, which I think may end up being Westview, it may end up being that, but in the comics, I believe it's in the swamp, and I think Man-Thing is the guardian of the Nexus. I think
that sounds correct.
Is that right? The chat may have to correct me on that, but I do believe that's the case. That Man-Thing is the guardian of the Nexus. It is in the swamp, and I think that we may see the Nexus may end up being the Hex or where we are in New Jersey, which would be more accessible because obviously filming in a swamp would be very difficult to do. They don't want to have to do that every time. So there's that.
And fun fact, the Marvel crossover with Fortnite last season was called the Nexus War.
And on Marvel Strike Force, the game that I play way too much, it's based on the Nexus as well. And
see, look,
it's all connected, guys.
Yeah, apparently in the comics, the Nexus is in the Florida Everglades.
Yes. So I knew it was in swamp somewhere.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought it sounded familiar. I thought it sounded correct.
So that's kind of interesting. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on outside of the Hex with Monica and their team. So we were going to get the introduction of the engineer this week, I thought, And I was under the assumption that the engineer was one of the people there, but apparently it's not one of the people that was there.
No, I think so. No, when she met up with her, with Gardner, I think her name was, I think she said this was what the arrows, the engineer came up with.
Yeah, but I still thought that the engineer was there.
I thought it was there.
Oh, yeah. No,
I didn't necessarily think that she was. I just thought that, that was the case. But we get like this space rover vehicle that's been, I guess, designed to go through the hex wall.
Yeah, it's supposed to have all these weird metal alloys and compounds that, supposed to, what's the word I'm looking for? Shield from all the cosmic rays and stuff like that.
Right. So we see
it didn't matter.
We see her try to go through there. We saw that vehicle, like the early promos had that in it. Like we knew that vehicle was coming. We'd seen it several times in the trailers and stuff like that. Were you surprised at how this went down? Like with it not working, and then
I didn't think it had a shot.
Okay,
I didn't think it had a shot.
Like I said, it changes what goes in, not just. You probably need some kind of.
I think Monica was just hoping that it would. That it wouldn't work, but yeah.
You probably need some sort of anti-magic thing, being that this is literal magic.
So she decides to walk through, and Jimmy Woo's like, "No, don't do it." But she was determined to do it. We get a really cool scene with her walking through, and sort of like we hear these flashbacks to things that she thinks about in her head, and all the things going on. We run the spectrum between like her mother to to stuff that's happened with Nick Fury, to stuff that's happened with Captain Marvel. And when she comes through, we see her eyes glowing blue. I honestly was ready for her to like just go all out.
Get up and just start flying.
I was like, turn into energy and start flying. But they decided they're going to slow burn that even more.
Yeah, just like not. Yeah, because it makes sense. She wouldn't even be aware that she had those powers. So
but she did see in different spectrums. She was able to see different light energy.
Yeah, she did. She probably, or it may have just been an effect of crossing through. Who knows? So I get why she didn't just up and fly right then and there.
I'm hoping that she is as badass in the show as she is in the comics, because I would feel really bad if her powers were very timid, because I feel like she needs to be bigger than that. I think her character needs to be bigger than that. We get a little tinge of that. So she runs off and she's like, I have to go tell Wanda, which by the way, I forgot to mention this, that they find out that the government wants to use Vision as a weapon. I think 2 weeks ago I said that's probably what was going on, and that ends up what was
because the producers always said like, there's a lot of theories going around, and a lot of people are absolutely right on the money.
And I don't mind stuff that when you're thinking about it pays off, so you feel validated. And I felt very validated in that one, because I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. So we find out they're going to use it. She wants to go tell Wanda, look, like this is not on you, right? Or tell Wanda, this is not on you. That this is what Hayward's trying to do, and this is what Sword wants to do with Vision. And when she gets there, of course, Wanda goes into her like defensive, this is my house, like get out mode or whatever. And so I'm thinking like Monica's this is when the powers are gonna kick in, and then they don't again. I'm like,
they kind of do
a little bit. So then Wanda goes to slam her, I guess, and knock her out on the ground or whatever. That's when the powers kick in, and Monica's like, "Oh, hold on,
wait a minute,
superhero landing. I'm going to give you superhero landing," which she does, which is kind of cool. And so we have her, drop down and go into that pose and whatnot. We see the energy around her, and Wanda's confused, because Wanda's looking at her like, "What's going on here?" Because she couldn't account for her getting powers from going in and out of the hex. And how that's going to affect her. So now that we know that this is actually happening in the hex, does this mean that people that are in the hex now that have passed through the wall, are we going to get like powers? Are some of these people going to get powers as well? That begs the question. Like,
that's another theory going around. I was like, what if this is a reverse House of M? Instead of in the comics, no more mutants. Now we have mutants in the MCU.
Yeah, I mean, whatever they decide to do with it, I guess it's going to have to make sense, and we're just going to have to accept it. It is what it is at this point.
Yeah, and with all the talks going around about what's going to happen and stuff, I'm keeping my expectations low, because I like being. I don't mind reading them as long as I know that some of them again are out like completely outlandish, and if they happen, they happen.
Yeah, as long as they're not freaking stupid.
So, but as Monica with these powers in the comics, she can transform into like all different kinds of energy. So we're talking like gamma energy, X-ray vision, like X-ray energy, like what are some of those microwaves?
Microwave.
Like, she can basically, she's control of all spectrums of energy, which is why she goes by Spectrum. I believe she still goes by Spectrum now. Because her mother was Photon, so I believe she
she probably goes by Spectrum. Yeah, she pretty much goes through like the entire electromagnetic spectrum from from radio waves to a gamma ray. Like I forget what's the highest one. I think cosmic rays.
Yeah, so she's gonna be pretty. I think if they go all out with her, she's gonna be pretty dope. So I'm really excited about that. All the while this is going on, we see that Sword is preparing to attack outside of the Hex. We know that's coming. It's probably going to be in the next couple episodes that they're going to try and come in. The question is how though? How? Like, what are you going to do? You've got Agatha, you've got Vision, you've Got Wanda, and now Monica. What are they going to do against those 4 characters if they were to try and attack? Like,
I don't know. I think somehow the Hex is going to go down, and that's when they strike.
No, I get that, but we're not talking about like.
Oh, no,
I'm talking about the power, like not getting through. I figure they're going to figure a way to get through. I'm talking about facing off against those 4. Like that's even if they're not teaming up and they're just fighting individually, we're talking about really powerful characters. Like,
I don't think they can do anything. I think they're just there as a side story.
Like they're just there. So moving on, let's talk about the big reveal that we get at the end. So Wanda gets swooped up by Agatha, as we know now, who's Agnes's Agatha, taken to her house, and at this point, Wanda doesn't know that she's Agatha. So she goes in, and everything is weird. There's half-eaten food on the table. Yo Gabba Gabba is on the screen.
Kids are gone. Just terrifying, by the way.
We have a Senior Scratchy, the rabbit, which is weird. That rabbit, something's up with that rabbit, is in the cage there. And then we have like a cicada or some sort of like a horsefly or something over on the window.
It's a deep cut.
And
that's a deep cut.
And then we have Agnes like, let me make you some tea. And Wanda's like, where are the kids at? She's like, oh, they're probably playing in the basement. I'm like, what? So at this point, I'm like, obviously, Agatha wanted Wanda to walk downstairs. That's
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So as we're going through this creepy shrine, temple / altar / whatever you want to call it, as she's walking through, I'm like, this is under the house? Like, what is this? Like, pretty creepy. So she gets down to the bottom, and we see like these shelves with all these things on it and stuff, like skulls and
want that basement
and stuff. And then we see a book of some type sitting on it.
Now, me and Cyber was talking about this on when we were playing. I forget what we was playing last night. I think that's one of the books from Doctor Strange.
It could be
one of the forbidden knowledge. Well, not the forbidden books that you can read. Anyone can read it, but you ain't taking it out of there. I think it's one of those books.
Yeah. There's a theory that it's the Darkhold, and I think that's a sound theory, but it doesn't look like the Darkhold in the MCU.
Unless they just ignore the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. version.
Maybe the book can look different.
Yeah, I heard the dark. Yeah, I heard that.
The other is like the Druid Tomes. Apparently, there's a Druid Tome storyline that is a deep cut as well.
I heard that one too.
And we get the reveal that Agnes is Agatha. Surprise! I mean, this is one of those ones.
Yeah,
Agatha all along.
So yes, I love that song. By the way, that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, she like the people in the chat point out, she was so cartoonish. I love it.
She was, but I think it fits within this.
Yes, it totally fits. I absolutely love it.
Okay, so the question is, where are the kids now? Because she made a joke about eating children.
Yeah, I bit a kid once.
Yeah. Well, I say eating, but she said she bit a kid. But yeah, but there's a history of witches doing things like that. I mean, that's like the story of Hansel and Gretel and things like that. So we know there's some spooky stuff going on. She's got the purple energy instead of what we've seen, all kind of hidden and rooted in this basement, which I'm assuming that these roots go out further than just that basement. I'm guessing they cover most of that area and what's happening around town and stuff. And so we see that's going on and that she is pulling the strings on Wanda.
Everything.
Thoughts on this? I mean, do you think that so the question is now, do you think that she is working for herself or is she working for a bigger power?
Yeah, that's what,
Yep, that's what it is.
Mephisto.
That's what the deep cut was. The cicada on the wall. In the comics, when he was originally first shown, I believe he was a fly on the wall, so to speak. So I think that's kind of like a deep cut for that. But she's not the main villain. If she is the main villain, guess what? That's a letdown.
Yeah, so even in the comics, she wasn't really a villain.
She wasn't, but she worked for villains. She did things in villainous ways.
She was just whatever was to her benefit.
Yeah. So so we have that going on. The kids, I think the kids are going to show back up as older. I think they're going to be older because I think it's they wouldn't go to the trouble of introducing them on the show and then getting rid of them without any sort of like bringing them back, unless they want to play into like the idea that Wanda was brainwashed by Agatha into forgetting that she had kids altogether, which is the story from the comics, which I actually think next week's episode, Vision's going to come back. Wanda is going to be back at home.
Like nothing happened.
And she's going to forget they had kids. That's what I think is going to happen. I think that's how they're going to do the forgetting the kids storyline, is they're going to do it in that one episode, and then they're going to have to rescue the boys. That's what I think is going to happen. So, just throwing it out there. Is Monica going to be a part of it? Because we had a post-credit scene this week, in case you guys...
Hey, shout out to Inverted Unicorn for letting me know, because I would not have known.
We always watch the credits, but it is a shout out for letting me know as well. Yeah. We always watch the credits, but we don't pay attention. We just leave it up and running. So
we
would have seen it. But I'm glad we got that tag. That was good.
Yeah. So we find out in the post-credit scene that Monica is not giving up. She's looking for Wanda. And she goes to the basement of Agatha's house. She rips the doors open, and we see the purple tentacles or roots or whatever down there. Roots. And who's there waiting to stop her?
Snoopers going to snoop.
Quicksilver. Because we had wondered where he was the whole episode. He's just chilling, waiting for orders. He's not, he's working. Agatha has him controlled as well. But this begs the question now, is this actually Quicksilver from the MCU brought over by Agatha? Because maybe her basement is part of that dimensional portal of the Nexus, because now we've mentioned the Nexus. Is he from that universe brought over, or is he a reincarnated, skinned version of the other Quicksilver? That's the big question. He's obviously being controlled by her.
Yeah.
You want to know where I'm going with this? Remember I said at the beginning that it's not that complicated. I think that it is a fan Easter egg, that he is in there and they joke about him being recasted, and ultimately it's supposed to be the Quicksilver from Age of Ultron, just with a new actor.
Different. Yeah. So here's the thing. Do you think Quicksilver is going to go on past the series, or do you think this is it for him?
It's tough because I don't know what's going to happen outside the Hex, because Vision technically can't survive outside of the Hex. So I guess if they jumpstart him or whatever, I would like to see him continue. I like the actor, and I liked Quicksilver in the MCU. I like both actors.
In that goddamn
but I feel like I want to be pretty clear when it looks to things like speedsters like Flash and Quicksilver. There's not many instances where they can be in a fight and lose. So it's really hard to write them and make them make sense in a normal story. So I think keeping him out of the MCU right now, it's kind of
the thing is that if they do keep the kids around, one of them is going to be a speedster.
I don't think they're going to keep the kids. I don't know. Maybe I did say earlier. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
Speedster. Okay, so can we just put this out there? And this is, I think, very evident, at least with the TV shows that we watch and stuff. Speedsters are broken. Yeah, they're broken characters.
It's because ridiculous.
If
you're literally breaking the laws of physics.
So like the Quicksilver in the MCU, the one from Age of Ultron, was fast, but he wasn't like Flash fast. He was a speedster, but he didn't defy like physics in his speed. He was just a fast character. I think if you're going to do a speedster that way, that's fine. Just make them physically fast, and that's great. Give them high metabolism, make them enhanced or whatever. I think there's a certain level of speed where you break that whole wall.
That's why, like, if you speak
Quicksilver in the MCU broke that for me. He was too fast.
Yeah, it's like if you speak to like a lot of like literal astrophysics, like Neil deGrasse Tyson just said, like the strongest superhero would be the Flash, because he literally breaks physics.
I've said this so many times. Like, there's no reason anyone should ever be able to beat him unless you can stop him. 100%. If you can stop him from being a speedster. That's really it.
And
I'm talking
then
anyone,
it's always
Batman, Superman, any of those characters versus a fully powered speedster should not win.
Like
ever.
literally a light speed snap will just destroy anybody within that room.
Yeah.
If you're going by actual legit physics, but
yeah. Introverted unicorn. Look at Quicksilver's death in the MCU. He died by bullets. Yeah. But I think that there should be a level where they reach a brick wall in their speed. They shouldn't be so fast that they can't be targeted or whatever. Like, I think that I don't know. I love the Flash. He's my favorite superhero. I won't deny that, but there is a level of power where they become, you can't make it work in a show with other people that have powers. And I think that the MCU Quicksilver was not that. I think he was just fast. The X-Men Quicksilver definitely too fast. This is why on the Flash TV show, they always had like one of the speedsters get knocked out. You think one speedster's too fast and you can't beat him? Make two of them show up, and then you really can't win. So there we go. All right. This is a 5-minute warning. We're going to do a 5-minute warning. If you have any super chats or any questions, you can throw them into the chat now. And we're going to give our score on this episode of WandaVision. What did you guys think of this episode score-wise, 1 to 10? And then in the chat, also give us your score of this episode as well.
You go ahead.
I'm gonna let you guys go. One of you two.
Yeah, you go. All right, screw it. I'll go. I give this a 9.
A 9. So that's a pretty high praise for it. Yeah,
I give this episode a 9. It did a lot of it confirmed a lot of stuff. The ending song with Agatha was great because it was a great parody off the Munsters and the Addams Family. And I mean, there was I want to give it a 10, but there was a few things I kind of thought was like, really, you're gonna do that? Like when she just hopped out of the truck and then she just ran in anyway. I was like, really, you're gonna do that? All right, fine, whatever. But it was like nitpicking here and there. But yeah, I give this a solid 9.
All right. I sat back and I enjoyed the episode from start to finish. At first, I was kind of annoyed with how long it took Vision to get back to the house, but then you got to have to take into account, it probably really wasn't that long in the show, like in terms of like time frame. And he was trying to stick with Darcy. So that's why he didn't just fly away. But I think that this episode was really good. I think a lot of the disappointments that I had nothing to do with the show, but expectations. So that's not the show's fault. So for me, I gave it an 8. I think it's a very good show. I enjoyed it. Agatha's reveal was expected and not a disappointment. So that's really good. I enjoyed it.
I'm literally in the middle of the two of you guys. I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10. Because I do feel like this episode had a bit of padding. Like we only got
with some padding.
We're already getting short episodes. And so when you spend a lot of time with moments that don't totally tie into everything, I feel like it could be a bit much, but that didn't take away from the quality of the episode. I just don't want to give it a perfect score because I do feel like some of the scenes were padded a bit, but that's okay. That's fine. And some people are going to say, no, I loved every single moment of it. And that's good too. For me, like the last half of the episode was the best. Like the second half of it, really, when Monica came in to confront Wanda, the stuff with Agatha, all of that really for me was kind of where it was. And so I was very happy with it. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 because I have a feeling the last 2 episodes may be better.
These better be an hour long.
I was going to say, I thought it was supposed to be the last 3 episodes were an hour long.
Someone was saying that, I think Cody told me that was a miss, like the information was wrong.
Yeah.
But the last 2 episodes are supposed to be longer, but it wasn't the last 3. I thought.
Okay. Well, whatever.
I wouldn't research it. So yeah. So there we go. All right. We have a few questions quickly here. In the games 1, 2, 3, what are your thoughts on Swamp Thing HBO Max show? Haven't seen anything about it. Only thing I've seen is a Constantine show that's supposed to be on HBO Max that may tie into Swamp Thing.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. Superman and Lois. You guys gonna watch the show or not?
I'm gonna watch it.
What's it on?
It's just a
CW
show.
Oh, I don't watch any of the CW stuff. I don't have cable.
Okay. You can watch it online for free. CW.
Yeah, CW has an app.
Oh, where? Okay, then I'll give it a shot. Then I had no idea.
Let's see.
I don't watch a lot of TV. Don't give me that face.
Have you seen any interviews with Paul Bettany about? No, I don't watch. I try not to watch any early stuff for WandaVision. The only thing I see early is if somebody posts a theory up on Twitter or something. I literally like to go in as completely blank as possible. only because I don't want to have my expectations set too high.
I say this show is easy, man. This show is easy to get wrapped up in all the Easter eggs and all the red herrings and there's so much stuff packed into it, which is why I said in episode 1, you have to wait till the end before you can give it a real opinion, because there's a lot of stuff that might not be answered and could just be red herrings.
Swamp Thing show is reportedly in the workstation. Until I see a source like EW or Variety or something, I'm just gonna wait on that.
Yeah, that's why I would love to just, when all this is done, go back and just watch the whole thing in one go.
Mike or Meek, I think. Eric, what are your thoughts on Barry's new speed thinking abilities? I think it'll be for one episode. I don't know. Here's the thing, guys. As the Flash, he's always been able to think fast. That's
because there's a literal panel where he can think faster than Octos did. Like,
well, the thing is, if you're typing fast and you're reading fast, you have to be able to process that information, which means you have to be able to you have to think fast. So I think it's a little weird that they're specifying that as a power, but we'll see where it could go. Let's see. Got a theory, could be bunnies. All right, last minute questions. Any super chats? 1 minute warning. 1 minute warning. So we come when we get to the end of WandaVision with the series or whatever. I think we talked about this briefly in the beginning. I'm thinking we'll probably have a week where we do just our thoughts on the whole series, like from start to finish, because I think it'll be easy to watch the whole thing over again in between the end of it and when we come back, because I want to watch it on a binge and see how it plays on a binge probably. And so we'll do that. That will be where we go with that. Is Hayward Ultron? I see that is a lot of people saying that's possible. I don't really know why they would do that though, based on what we're seeing now.
I want Ultron back. So
I do too, but I don't.
Any way they tie him in, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so here's the thing.
At this point,
the only way Hayward is Ultron is if they continue the Vision story after the series. They wouldn't bring him in this late to just get rid of him again. That wouldn't make any sense. So if Vision continues on past WandaVision, I could see that happening. But right now, we're not totally sure. How would Doctor Strange stop Nightmare without the Time Stone? You guys forget, Doctor Strange is dope without any stones at all. Like, in the comics,
he fights all those people in the comics, and he doesn't have the Time Stone.
Yeah, he is badass. So the Time Stone is OP, but Doctor Strange is pretty OP. Let's see. We'll do one more question here. Where was it at? Where does it go? Where'd it go? It disappeared. All right. Well, I guess we are doing one more question then.
Oh, actually, I think I saw the question as well, and I think they deleted their comment. But it was a question that I was actually going to answer as well, and I don't remember what he said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I saw it and I was like, oh, and then it got.
All right, final question. Here we go. Will WandaVision get a season 2? Unknown right now.
I don't think so.
I doubt it. Yep, I doubt it. I think at this point,
it would.
Yeah, there's no point in having a WandaVision, so she might be in another series. I think what's going to happen is we might actually get a Spectrum series, which I hope.
Yeah,
and let her continue with her story.
The WandaVision title doesn't make sense after this.
Yeah, I think WandaVision season 2 is going to be whatever Doctor Strange's movie is.
Yeah.
Yep, that's season 2, and then Spider-Man from there, and then we're back. We're back on the ground running.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for joining us. We got Twitch TV, Syberninja. Anything you want to say before we head out?
This week we will be streaming, guys. Tuesday we have the Coin Op conversation. It's been postponed 2 weeks, once because of my heat being out, the other because I didn't feel well. So again, this week coming up, we're going to be talking about games. We'll probably talk about the Mortal Kombat trailer. So if you guys want to see my more in-depth, and along with the guests, their in-depth feelings on it, come stop over at twitch.tv/Syberninja on Tuesday at 9 p.m.
All right. Omega.
Me, I haven't really been doing much online. Just been playing a lot of Honey Pop 2 since that released. I love that game. It's hilarious. But we have started up a D&D game. Don't give me that face. We have started up a D&D game, which I might go ahead and stream that if everyone's cool with that. So, yeah.
All right, cool.
Keep a lookout for that.
Well, if you're watching this on Twitch, make sure you come over to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and you'll get to watch this on playback if you missed any of it. If you did not and you want to join us again, remember it's 5 o'clock every single Sunday, New York time, if you're international, Eastern time. So there we go. And if you were here on YouTube, give it a couple hours to process, and then you come back and watch it with timestamps, all that stuff.
Watch it like 10 times.
Yeah, 20 times would be better. So that's pretty much it. We're out. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Have a good one.